Did you know that in ancient Egypt, onions were strictly forbidden to priests, not because of health concerns, but due to their deep spiritual symbolism? This might sound surprising, especially since onions were a staple in the Egyptian diet for common people. But for those serving in the temples, the humble onion was off limits, carrying a weight far beyond its flavor or nutritional value. Egyptians believed that the many layers of an onion mirrored the complex mysteries of the universe itself. Each translucent ring was thought to represent a different realm or secret, hidden within the cosmos. The onion became a symbol of eternity, of life's endless cycles, and of the unseen forces that shaped their world. For priests, eating an onion was more than just a dietary choice. It was like consuming the very fabric of the universe, an act considered too powerful and sacred for those seeking ritual purity. The onion's potent symbolism meant it was reserved for the gods, not for mortal consumption by those who mediated between the divine and the earthly. This curious taboo reveals just how deeply food and faith were intertwined in ancient societies. What we eat and what we avoid can be a reflection of our beliefs, our fears, and our hopes for the world beyond. For ancient peoples, every meal was more than just sustenance. It was a spiritual act, a daily opportunity to honor the gods, connect with ancestors, or purify the soul. The foods chosen for the table were often selected with care, each ingredient carrying its own meaning and significance. Food choices weren't random, they were woven into the very fabric of daily life, shaping not only individual identity but also the bonds of community. What you ate could mark you as a member of a particular group, or set you apart as someone devoted to a higher calling. Imagine living in a world where your dinner plate was a reflection of your devotion, where every bite could influence your fate, your standing in society, or your relationship with the divine. The presence of the divine was felt at every meal, not just within the grand walls of temples but in the humblest of homes. Blessings, prayers, and rituals surrounded even the simplest foods. Religious laws and customs shaped what was cooked, what was sacrificed, and what was shared. The act of preparing and offering food became a bridge between the human and the sacred. Across continents and centuries, faith has created intricate dietary rules, taboos, rituals, and feasts that have built civilizations and defined cultures. These traditions continue to echo through history, shaping the way we eat even today. The story of food is, in many ways, the story of humanity itself, guided, bite by sacred bite, by the enduring power of belief and the mysteries we find on our plates. Religion has been one of the most powerful forces shaping human diets, influencing not just what people ate, but how they thought about food itself. For thousands of years, faith and food have been deeply intertwined, with spiritual beliefs guiding every bite. Long before the rise of modern nutritionists and scientists, it was priests, shamans, and sacred texts that dictated what was considered holy or forbidden to eat. These spiritual authorities interpreted the will of the gods, turning food into a matter of divine importance. These rules went far beyond simple health concerns. They defined purity, shaped group identity, and created a sense of belonging within the community. Eating together became a way to reinforce shared values and beliefs. By blessing or banning certain foods, societies imposed order on a chaotic world, using rituals to make sense of the unknown and to feel protected by higher powers. Eating became a daily act of worship, a sacred moment that aligned people with the cosmic order and reminded them of their place in the universe. The dinner table was transformed into an altar, and every meal was a ritual, filled with meaning and intention. Food was believed to purify the body, strengthen the spirit, or even connect one directly to the divine. Every ingredient and gesture carried symbolic weight. Each culture developed its own sacred menu, shaped by its unique theology, environment, and history. What was sacred in one land could be forbidden in another. Religious leaders became the interpreters of divine will, translating spiritual teachings into practical food laws that governed daily life and social order. These weren't mere suggestions. They were moral imperatives, shaping not just what people ate, but how they lived, loved, and related to one another. Across the ancient world, what you ate was more than sustenance. It was a path to salvation, a way to find meaning, and a bridge between the earthly and the divine. In ancient Egypt, food and faith were inseparable. Gods were fed with offerings, bread, beer, meat, fruit, believed to nourish their spirits. After rituals, priests shared these blessed foods, blurring the line between divine and human. The Nile's bounty shaped the Egyptian diet, but some foods were taboo. Certain fish linked to the god Set and the myth of Osiris were forbidden to priests. Pork, seen as impure and tied to Set, was shunned especially by the priesthood. Bread and beer, however, were sacred gifts, central to daily life and afterlife rituals. The agricultural cycle itself was a sacred drama, orchestrated by the gods. Every meal reminded Egyptians of their dependence on the divine and the cosmic order. In ancient India, the principle of ahimsa, nonviolence, transformed the diet. Rooted in Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, ahimsa taught that harming any creature brought negative karma. Vegetarianism became a spiritual discipline, not just a health choice. The cow, once sacrificed, became a revered symbol of life and generosity, its protection a sacred duty. Killing a cow was seen as a grave sin, elevating the animal to a near-divine status. Gurus and priests spread these teachings, making diet a daily act of compassion and devotion. While not all Indians were vegetarian, the ideal shaped culture, especially among the priestly Brahmins. This ancient commitment to non-violence still defines Indian cuisine and values today. In the ancient Middle East, covenants with God shaped what people ate. For Israelites, the laws of kashrut, keeping kosher, were divine commandments, not health tips. Animals were divided into clean and unclean. Only those meeting strict criteria could be eaten. Shellfish and pork were forbidden, reinforcing identity and obedience. A key rule: never mix meat and dairy, requiring separate utensils and careful preparation. The kitchen became a place of constant religious mindfulness. Priests and rabbis taught these laws, ensuring their survival across generations. With Islam's rise, similar halal laws emerged, banning pork, blood, and requiring humane slaughter in God's name. Both kosher and halal made food a central pillar of faith and community. These rules still shape millions of lives today. Why did ancient religions ban certain foods? The answer is more layered than it first appears. Throughout history, what people ate, or refused to eat, was never just about taste or nutrition. Food choices were deeply woven into the fabric of spiritual life, shaping not only what was on the table, but also how communities saw themselves and their place in the world. The reasons were complex: spiritual, practical, and social. Religious leaders often used food laws to guide followers, creating boundaries that defined who belonged and who did not. These rules helped maintain order and unity, especially in times of uncertainty or change. Food taboos created a sense of holiness and set communities apart. By following strict dietary codes, people could feel closer to the divine and reinforce their shared values with every meal. Avoiding forbidden foods like pork became a daily badge of identity. It was a visible sign of faith, a way to show loyalty to one's group, and a reminder of sacred stories passed down through generations. Health concerns played a role. Spoiled pork or toxic shellfish could cause illness, seen as divine warning. In a world without modern science, unexplained sickness was often interpreted as a sign from the gods, reinforcing the need for caution and obedience. Symbolism mattered. Animals' traits were believed to transfer to those who ate them. Eating a strong, pure animal was thought to bring strength or virtue, while consuming a scavenger or predator might taint the soul. Predators and scavengers were shunned, gentle grazers were favored. The animals chosen for food reflected ideals of purity, peace, and order, while those rejected symbolized chaos or impurity. These choices reflected moral values and cosmic order. Food laws were a way to mirror the universe's balance, keeping chaos at bay through everyday acts. Some bans reinforced core beliefs, like Egypt's fish taboo tied to the Osiris myth, or India's vegetarianism rooted in ahimsa. Each culture's food rules told a story about their gods, their heroes, and their hopes for the world. Forbidden foods told stories about gods, the universe, and humanity's place in it. Myths and legends were brought to life at the dinner table, making every meal a lesson in faith and tradition. Refusing certain foods was a daily affirmation of faith. It was a ritual as important as prayer, a way to honor ancestors and uphold sacred law. These rules weren't arbitrary. They were narrative tools, shaping identity and belief. They helped people remember who they were and what they stood for, even in the smallest acts. Every bite or refusal was a sacred act, a daily reminder that food is never just food, but a powerful symbol of faith, belonging, and the stories we choose to live by. Ancient religions shaped life's rhythm through cycles of fasting and feasting. Fasting wasn't punishment, it was purification, a way to focus on the divine. Communal fasts like Yom Kippur cleansed souls and united communities in humility. Fasting prepared individuals for sacred tasks, opening them to spiritual insight. Feasts, in contrast, were joyous celebrations, ritual meals marking key events and giving thanks. Special foods, rich and symbolic, connected generations and honored tradition. These cycles gave life a sacred tempo, mirroring nature's ebb and flow. Fasting and feasting nourished both body and soul, keeping faith alive in daily life. Ancient dietary laws still shape billions of lives today. Kosher rules born in the deserts of the Middle East are followed by Jews worldwide, connecting meals to faith and tradition. Halal principles guide over 1 billion Muslims, influencing global food markets and daily choices. Ahimsa's legacy lives on in India's vegetarian culture and inspires modern vegan and vegetarian movements. The sacred cow remains a powerful symbol in India, shaping society and politics. Christian fasting traditions like Lent echo ancient purification rituals. Even Rastafarians' Ital diet draws from biblical principles. These ancient beliefs created enduring cultural frameworks, making food a language of faith and identity. For many, eating is still a sacred act, a tangible link to the divine. The story of religion and food is a tapestry woven with faith, culture, and survival. From Egypt's sacred onions to India's revered cows, we've seen how meals became spiritual acts. Dietary rules weren't just restrictions, they built communities and expressed deep beliefs. We are meaning seekers, turning food into ritual and identity. These traditions still echo in our kitchens and cultures today. Understanding them reveals the richness behind every meal and every taboo. The quest to understand what we eat and why is never-ending. Keep exploring, and you'll discover the profound mysteries of our shared human story.